Hello everyone, this is Trollforge after a 2-year hiatus with the penultimate episode of Penumbra Black Plague Explained. We are going to cover all that you need to know about the infected corridors, research room, and the kennel. Now let's get into this video. Before we continue, there's a few extra scenes that were left out from the previous episode. There's unique dialogue for using the hand and head on yourself. The Necronomicon from the Evil Dead franchise is an Easter egg. Now onto the video itself. Clarence tells you that your journey is almost over when you enter the infected corridors.
So, on the to-do list, find this damsel in distress, kill the bad guys, cure infection, save the world. Chances of success? Nil. Chances of survival? Well, you've got old Clarence on board. That should speak for itself. Chances of you buggering things up royally? Almost certain.
We are in Science Wing A, which is probably the first established building of the shelter and what I believe to be where the infection first started to run rampant throughout the complex. You can see wear and tear and various signs of chaos in the halls, bullet holes in some places and small signs of life. When you get to the corner, Annabelle will tell you what you need to do to get into the research room, and Clarence comments on it.
The best thing to happen to me since I've been down here. I'm reserving first place for when we get out. So, I'm not big-headed enough to think you came all the way here just to rescue me. I wasn't lying though. I think I've worked out how to disinfect you. But, you probably saw this coming. It's not quite as simple as all that. I had to engage the failsafe on the research rooms to seal myself in here, and that means we need a key card to get me out. One of the personnel, one of the infected ones, tried to get in with a card, but I don't know where it went. Look, I need you, and, well, if you do get me out, I'll give you the biggest hug of your life.
Christ! Go here, go there, fetch this, run me a bath. Typical broad, atypical circumstances. You think fate has anything to do with this? Fate is merely the war cry of those too scared to think for themselves.
There's also a large hole in the wall nearby that shows most of the complex. This hole probably resulted in an explosion of some kind. And another window where the bullet holes are. It looks like someone or something fell in through the window to its demise. There's a blood trail leading off from the research room down the hall into the kennel. There's also another hidden statue in the trash can next to the room before you go down the stairs. Before we go to the kennel, there's 3 infected roaming the halls and they wield weapons that we've had in Penumbra Overture. I couldn't find the one with the hammer, but it's here. I guess after the Turnget took our weapons, they started using them for use against us. The kennel serves both as a throwback to our previous journey in the mines and also brings us into the Hunter tunnels. Remember when that guy got killed in the storage room from the first game? Well, this is where the Hunter spends most of his time and we learn about the origin of the cut enemy in Wilbur Frisk. When you crawl inside any of the kennels, you hear loud growls and the kennel shakes. When you get out of it and quickly turn around, you'll see a puff of smoke over each one. Technically, this is probably a script cue for sound, but in theory, it's probably from the Hunter fleeing as soon as he got out of the kennel. When you walk down the hall, the screen goes black and Clarence shows you what his existence is like.
Dark, isn't it? Echo! 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 Kinda empty. Now this is what it's like to be me, buried deep within the cavernous expanse you call a mind. You see, this is what puts me in such a bad mood. We spend all this time messing about with door codes, levers, human appendages, and it turns out at the blink of an eye, I can just block it all out. Whoosh! Gone. Just you and me on some kind of messed up holiday. You think I can conjure up some margaritas? No? Shall we get the hell out of here then? Well, it's hardly better, but it is more interesting. Just...
When you enter the room with the boxes, there's bloody handprints all over the wall, indicating that something horrible happened here. My theory is that this is where the hunter had his meals or chased down some prey in here. There's also bloody paw prints leading out from another kennel area. Judging by the bodies and blood, either all the dogs kill each other or one of the dogs kill the others. Seeing how the trail leads off from this room into the snowy wilderness, Clarence messes with your senses again as well. When you get into the break room, there's an unfinished report on Wilbur Frisk, and it details the events of the tomb excavation, outbreak, and his transformation as the hunter. The pages also confirm that the man who was killed in Overture was brought here, and we later see him in the next hall. After turning off the power, you need to make it through the next hall while avoiding the hunter. Before you go down the hall to retrieve the key card, Dr. Roberts' body falls from the ceiling, and then when we come back, it disappears. This is most likely a hallucination, or his body got dragged off into another hole.
To just search out danger and throw yourselves head first at it. I'm starting to become seriously desensitized here.
We're in close proximity of the tunnels and all coated in green slime, which is probably stomach acid or some other secretion. If you step into the darkness without blocking the holes, you will be attacked by the hunter, except you can't see anything even with the flashlight on. At the end of the hall, you find the man who ran from the research room dead, another victim to the hunter. Then you collect the key card.
Key cards? I hate key cards. Whatever happened to good old bolts and padlocks? That's what I want to know.
When you get into the research room, you get a moment of peace before facing what lies ahead. There's a lot of things to observe, but nothing really much of importance, other than a dismantled bathroom with an artifact inside it.
Difficulties. Please have your personal cyanide capsule at the ready.
You need to unlock the door to the computer room, and Miss Swanson has the key. When you get into the loading bay, the door locks behind you and Miss Swanson is suddenly infected. This acts just like another monster encounter, and she can kill you, but this is all a hallucination that you can't shake from unless you kill her.
Towards him screaming for a change. Hey, good work, buddy. Give yourself a slap on the back with a crowbar, why don't you? Oh, one thing, before you get too overwhelmed with glee. I know murder can be a lot of fun, but, didn't you quite like that broad? Hey, I think that's a piece of her skull in your shoe. Wait, don't tell me you really thought... I thought you knew I was pulling your leg. Oh, my best laid plans and all that. This is just terrible. You silly Billy. Come on, monkey. Take a joke.
You kill the one person in this place who is trying to help you, and Clarence makes a joke about all of it.
Why, oh why, are they always holding a key? Or a note?
In one of the crates, there's a specimen from Lake Utica, the place where we were at in the first game. Unlike all the other labeled artifacts that the shelter found, this one is unknown and couldn't have been dangerous since they have it tucked away in the research room. In the next room are dissected animals and worms. It looks like they were closely examining the infection, and these were their test subjects for the path of making a cure. To lighten the mood, if you spin the worm really fast in the sensor, it spins really fast and destroys everything in the room. Inside the computer room, there's half of a brain on the floor by the table. It looks just like the one that Dr. Emnus threw out the window when we encountered him, but this might be another hallucination or just another piece of how Dr. Swanson made a vaccine. The antidote text seems to be written just for Philip since he's the only one left, and some personal notes of Annabelle holding out hope for him. The text also reveals that the cure has a 50-50 success rate of actually working or proving fatal depending on the severity of the infection, and that some remnants of the Eterngate infection will remain.
This broad, you kill her off, and she's still jetting a lot of piss and wind from beyond the grave. That's about as likely to work as aromatherapy is to cure cancer.
Further stating that the cure won't reverse everything that's happened, but it will stabilize the host. The diagnostics window shows what we already know about the state of the shelter and is basically a recap of a lot of things that happened there. Before we go, there's one more thing to check out, and it's a pretty fun Easter egg by Frictional Games. Normally, you would get the password by getting all the artifacts in the game, but since I have a good memory in this video, you can play a Swedish version of Space Invaders on this computer. This is Trophy Force, and I'll see you all next time. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and turn on that bell notification, and subscribe for more videos.